Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about reverb and delay. 2 days ago I did a feedback stream and or at least part of a feedback stream, and one thing I noticed is that a lot of people have very bright reverbs and delays on their main elements, and I kind of want to talk about it and kind of give you a few suggestions on why that might be bad and why you might want to do that in a different way. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so here is a track that I'm working on. It's a high-tech Psytrance track, which has this cool lead sound here, and I'll play you it in the track so you can listen to it. And I've deliberately made the reverb and the delay way too bright and way too kind of in your face, so it doesn't sound really good, and in a little bit we'll go over how you can fix that. So this is obviously very exaggerated, and you can really hear the reverb in your face kind of feeling, but this was some of the things I was running into with people, is they don't have any filtering on their reverb. Now normally in Ableton Live, the reverb, if you open up the default preset for the reverb, it opens up with the low pass filter on the input, and that's for a good reason. And the reason for that is obviously reverb, you want that to be a background element. You don't want your reverb to be as energetic as your main lead sound or the elements that you're putting it on. So therefore normally it comes with a high cut, and it also has a little bit of a slow puff here in the diffusion equalizer. So that's standard. What's also standard is that the delay opens up with the filter here, and I normally drag that down directly. So both the reverb and the delay should have a filter kind of rounding off the low end. This already will sound a lot nicer. As you can hear, it's still very present, but it's not so much in your face, and it's not so sharp. But at this point I'd still get the dry wet down of both the delay and the reverb fairly far. Now it's already a lot clearer in the mix, and it sounds a lot nicer, but there's a lot more stuff you can do with this. One thing I like to do personally is to grab my reverb and my delay, or let's just do it with the reverb here, and let's put that in a group, and then we'll make two chains. One of them will have the reverb on it with a completely wet version here, and then we'll set up the chains like this, which is our chain selector thing here. You want to set it up like this, so it's a dry wet rack essentially. And now we can map this to a macro, and we can set this to be our dry wet. So now we'll have a dry wet of around this area, and what this means is that we now have a completely wet version of the signal on its own track, which we can further manipulate. For example, we can go in with an EQ and kind of check out what the frequency spectrum is doing. And maybe get rid of some more of those frequencies that are in the top there. Another thing you can do is compress them. Nope. If I go back here, and we'll put on a compressor with a side chaining, and then as input we're going to go with number 38, which is the original track here, and then we're going to go pre-effects, so it's going to sidechain based on whatever's coming out of Serum here, or the instrument, which in this case is a sample-based granular synthesis instrument, and this will kind of push it down if the instrument itself is playing. So this, again, it compresses the sound itself and makes the reverb sit a little bit further behind in the mix. So that really helps, again, making the main lead sound a little bit clearer. You can still hear that there's reverb there, but it's being pushed out of the way of the main lead, and therefore it's a lot clearer. Also with the EQing that we're doing on it, it's not so bright and therefore not so in your face. You could do the same thing with the delay, but this is just kind of to show you how that actually works. So I can close this now, and that was kind of the main trick I wanted to show you. I also wanted to talk a little bit about return tracks, which in Ableton I use for analyzing things and sending different tracks to different instances of M multi-analyzer. But a lot of people tend to use that for their reverbs and delays, and I'm personally not a big fan of them, because it gives you it will basically set you in the mindset that you already have a reverb and a delay ready, and you can just put on a few buttons instead of for each element, you know, being creative with your reverb or your delay, which means that some elements might benefit from some different timings on your delay or longer or shorter reverb, but because you already have set up your reverb and your delay, you tend to just push everything to the same send, or maybe have a few of them. I personally don't like that, and I like my reverb and delay as an insert, as you can still do all the ducking and the EQing within just a group channel here, as I've shown before, than what you would normally have in your return track, which is what people are often a fan of, you know, having the compressor on a return track and then sending it to a return track, which might also work. Obviously it all works. It's just depending on the way you like it. But personally for me, I like it to have it on the channel itself, so I have everything on the same channel basically, and also it just incentivizes me to be creative with my reverbs and delays and make them a little bit different each time. Most of the time though, I just still copy them over if I have a reverb for which I think that it might already work for different elements, maybe because they're the same type of element, or that they use the same MIDI data. There's a couple of reasons why that could happen. So that's the way I do it and the way I see it. I would love to know how you think about this and what your opinions are, so leave a comment down below. But that's going to be it for the video today, and if you enjoyed it, leave a like. That really helps a lot. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.